And the questions we're asking must lead to answers to some of the points that Gaurav and Sunil have just raised, because there can be absolutely no half measures as far as this is concerned. No, this kind of cost is unacceptable. Every time, we've shown you the data to prove it. The data that Sunil has brought to you proves that every time an encounter takes place in the Rajouri-Poonch area, the kill ratio is simply unacceptable. How do we solve it? What is the cause of the issue? I'm going to get an army view on this as well. Gaurav and Sunil, thank you very much for joining for the moment. But as promised, paying tribute to these brave men also means asking those questions. So here are the 6 big questions, viewer, that I want to ask, and then we're going to try and get some of those answers. Number 1, why so many army men killed for just 2 terrorists? 5 brave young army men killed for just 2 terrorists. Is this kill ratio that we're talking about in J&K encounters a cause for immediate concern? Number 3, does this encounter approach require a complete overhaul? Number 4, do encounters need more use of technology, whether it is drones, whether it is missiles, whatever it is? It's easy to say, but do we need more technology in these encounters? Number 5, tougher measures required in the Poonch-Rajouri sector as opposed to other sectors? And number 6, is this particular Poonch-Rajouri area diluting all the gains by Article 370's abrogation in other parts of Jammu and Kashmir? Let's get a professional view by those who have led teams, who have been in combat in this area and know what they're talking about when it comes to taking life and death decisions. Colonel S. Dini is a former infantry commanding officer. He has led a battalion deployed in the Ladakh area and in other conflict zones. Brigadier Vinod Datta is former Deputy Assistant Chief of the Integrated Defence Staff. Brigadier Datta, I will start with you first, sir. You know, the public, and I join the public in, you know, wanting to know how this could happen. In the public view, you know, there is almost an unacceptable sort of flavor to information coming in that 5 brave soldiers have died, you know, and resulting in the deaths of just 2 terrorists. People see it in terms of simple arithmetic and say something must have gone wrong. What could have gone wrong in your view here, sir?
You see, it's a matter of investigation. But firstly, let me salute to the great warriors who have given the supreme sacrifice. And we are proud of the family of these warriors. Absolutely. Who have produced, such gallant officers. I want to tell you one thing. You see, in counter-insurgency operations, generally, a lot of dependence is there on local intelligence. The intelligence is from various sources, but local intelligence plays a lot of, role, and it is generally, taken as, hard intelligence. But unfortunately, what has been happening in some of the cases earlier also, that sometimes these agents or the people who are giving you these intelligence, they sometimes double cross. Secondly, you see, what happens is the initiative is with the terrorists, because the Indian Army soldiers doesn't want that the civilian casualties should increase. Correct. Or there should be any collateral damage. So they take their time. They deliberate on these operations. They will carry out a cordon and then search or seek or search or seek or destroy. Operations will be conducted. Unfortunately, we have been losing. What you said is right, that the number is not favorable, and every 3rd day we are losing a gallant officer, JCO, or a Jawan of this Indian Army. So what is required is, firstly, the Indian Army should identify the launching pads which are there, because across the Pir Panjal the passes have closed. So major activities will be taking place in this area, especially Hill Kaka and other regions, because I've served in that area. And what we have to do is these launch pads, these training centers. Today we have that kind of ammunition, we have that kind of reach and resources where we can strike them deep and strike them hard. So that has to be done. You see, what we have to show is a muscular nationalism, because enough is enough. I think losing people at this rate is certainly not acceptable, and especially to this government.
Muscular nationalism is, has been demonstrated, Colonel Dinny, in the past. Whether it is the Uri operations or others which have not been reported, that has been shown. But specific to Rajouri, Poonch area, this seems to be a place where the losses are especially high every time an encounter takes place. Does this require, special measures which are unlike elsewhere? Does it require a greater use of technology? Is the pressure on battalions so high that the risk-taking is this high and therefore the possibility of death is also higher, sir?
First of all, Shiv, I also would like to place my salute and my thoughts.
Yeah.
There's no words to mention the kind of bravery which the 5 heroes have shown to us. I bow my head to them and to their families. Now, coming to your question, Shiv, it's a sense of deja vu for me in the sense that if you were there, Shiv, about 20 years back, I think you would have been doing the same show even then. The reason why I say so is that counter-terrorism operations in Kashmir is a very dynamic procedure or a process. It keeps changing, it keeps evolving. The terrorists keep changing the tactics. The Indian Army keeps changing the tactics. Deployments change, commanders change, troops change. So it is always, the only thing which doesn't change is the terrain. Rest, everything undergoes change. So that is the first thing which we must understand. And therefore, I would like to say that this particular, yes, the ratio of the casualties versus the militants and the armed forces is high. There is no doubt. But I don't feel that, there is something terribly wrong with the way the operations are being planned, executed at the ground level. Because I'm very sure that the people who are doing the job, they know exactly what they do.
Correct.
Shiv,
I agree.
I have been in Kupwara, I've been in Uri, I've been in Manasbal, in these areas, operated there. It just takes one, error from one person, and your entire team can get sucked into it, because that is the nature of operations. That is the way we are trained for it. That is the way we just don't leave. At that point of time when this operations is going on, no matter what, they are totally in a different zone. They're in a different mental zone. So it is very difficult to exactly say that this is where they're going wrong or something like that. And I, from personal experience, even including special forces, people have lost people without any terrorists being killed, and they have come back with a vengeance, in the sense of 7 to 8 terrorists being neutralized without a single casualties, and moving ahead. Now, my point is that definitely, as we see from outside, and it's my personal view, that the terrorists have moved away from the Burhan Wani school of terrorism. What is Burhan Wani school of terrorism was right in the city or the town, with the social media, with the Facebook. So the information and intelligence was much more easier. Now they have gone back to the old school of terrorism in Kashmir. What is the old school of terrorism? That is back to the forest, use the terrain, get into the hideouts, small little hideouts, get into the caves, and then send this information, either leak it with the purpose, or inadvertently the intelligence do come out, and then as the troops move in, the terrorists are at an advantage from very close, because the visibility is poor. They are in a dominating position. It is not like in a built-up area where you can actually completely seal the entire area and they can't escape. So I feel that this is one change which has happened, especially south of Pir Panjal, and I think Gaurav put it very rightly, that there is a vacuum there, and which is now naturally they will use it. They are looking for areas where we are weak, and
I think what is clear from the two brief answers that we've got from both Colonel Dinny and Brigadier Datta is that there are no easy answers. But I wanted to end this show by basically telling our viewers and to all of those listening that at no point should anyone think that they can lecture the army, the service that Brigadier Datta and Colonel Dinny have served. The people on the ground know what they're doing. Let nobody sitting in their armchairs in their living rooms think that they can give advice to brave commanding officers, brave soldiers, brave JCOs, and brave Jawans doing very, very dangerous and risky work on the ground. Nobody would risk their lives for nothing. They know what they're doing. Things can go wrong in counterinsurgency and counter-terror operations, and they frequently do. And that's the reason also why we are asking these tough questions here. And that's the reason why we need sober wisdom and advice from those who are experienced and have an outside view of what is going on. Colonel Dinny and Brigadier Datta, I apologize that this discussion was so brief, but I did want to bring you on board to at least get your words on this very, very sad day, but one that should galvanize us to ensure that there are no more such tragedies waiting to happen.